Hello, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with Howie. And we have the most illustrious and knowledgeable people in this craft with us tonight. And tonight, I would like to talk about what activities do you feel that are fading away or that you're not really doing anymore? For instance, like a garter toss or something like that. And maybe you have something else that, you might, do something different. So, but before we continue with the show, I must say this, that we want to thank our longtime sponsor, which is djeventplanner.com. You'll find that down below, along with our other sponsors, and those are hyperlinks, and they'll actually give us like 2 cents if you buy it through the hyperlink, and we'll be able to stay on the air. So anyway, guys, so you got the topic. What say you? Who would like to go first? What do you think? What things are kind of out of fashion, really, that you're not doing anymore? Go ahead. Okay.
I think Eric's starting now.
I see Eric.
I don't know who's going first.
Take it away.
I think you are, buddy.
All right, I didn't know. I raised my hand. I don't know,
buddy. By Eric, buddy. Not
you're on first.
All right, who's on second? No. Here we go.
I knew you would get that because you're an old-time comedian.
No, I'll tell you, I can't relax, No. Honestly, the things I've been getting away from, especially, I'm assuming you're talking about weddings, right? That's kind of what the topic
It could be any event, really. Yeah.
But for weddings, what I've been doing, and when you got the whole groomsmen and bridesmen, the brides, you know what I mean. Whole, you got me, Brian. Shut up. Oh my God,
John! If you see the waitress, Eric needs another drink.
Yeah, refills all around.
Yeah, because we didn't mention Road Dog yet.
Road Dog.
Yeah, we did get the official announcements today. Yeah.
All right, there we go. Now I'll be back on track. Hold on.
There you go.
I'll set you straight.
Oh my God.
Shakes are tough, huh?
We didn't even have to say Road Dog.
Well, I did. Yeah.
Nice.
I've been doing first name basis on them.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make it go smoother, faster. And what I heard recently, I forget who said it. I don't know if it was somebody in this room, but I might want to try this to the next wedding, which is, I think, November 11th. But one song, the bridal party.
Yeah.
And they all come out. You know what I mean? No names. Just, here's our bridal party.
There they are. I did that last night.
I've done that. Yeah.
I did that a couple
That's what we
weeks
call
ago.
a good day right there.
Yep.
You don't have to get on a list of 25 names, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
right.
But my point to this, if you did do this, right, here's a question, because you are all very talented, like Howie said, if you did that bridal party and they all came out, right, would you save the best man and maid of honor and then the bride and groom, or would they be included?
They come out as a group.
They do? Okay.
They're included. And I do it as, let's start with the ladies. Here they are, Tracy, Sarah, blah, 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 maid of honor, Carrie. And all the girls come out like a pack. And then you do the guys. Here they are, Brian, Howie, Eric, John, and best man, Buddy. And they all come out as a pack.
Yeah.
Right.
So you would line them
Guess I'm
up
the ring bearer.
Yeah.
Buddy, you're giving a toast later. Don't think you're off the hook.
That's tossing the flowers.
The reason, and we've talked about this before, the reason for doing that is because most of the people already know who those people are. The only ones you want to make special is the bride and groom or the couple and couple.
Exactly.
I mean, I did a thing in 2012. You can go YouTube, find the video, and I offered my planning form. And I think I've sent out hundreds. People email me and say, hey, can I have a copy? And I just email it to them. And on that planning form from 2012, so I started it earlier, it says grand entrance, bride and groom, wedding party, none. So I was customizing and saying to couples, hey, if you have a very small wedding party and it's close family, do you want to just have the two of you, or do you want to skip it? Because I didn't think it was fair to say, all right, everyone gets their own song. Like, I won't do 5 couples, 5 songs, and then the bride and groom. And every time it's come up, I just explained to them, if you want to waste 5 minutes of time, because I have to do 30-second segments, because I can't live mix and talk it. And the downside for me is always they pick all bangers. And I tell them up front, I'm not repeating a song. So what's the point in having 7 bangers played for entrance, and then I play the same songs later? And when they hear it explained that way, they get it.
Yeah.
And they understand, like, oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. Because it's, and like you say, Howie, it's the couple, it's not the wedding party.
That's right.
Yeah. Especially if they must play is Happy by Pharrell. And, you're going to bring the bridal party, whatever, into that song and then play it later. It's kind of. It's, and fortunately, a lot of couples have gotten wise to like asking questions like, hey, do you have a recommendation? I do. Let's take a song that you really, you don't mind throwing away because I'm going to be speaking over it. Let's have something that builds. I mean, I probably spent a good 3 or 4 years playing Beautiful Day by U2 because it has a 48-second intro and then it hits with It's a Beautiful Day. And I would try to time it that the couples would come in and then I could then, and here they are for the second time, your newest Mr. and Mrs. Howie, boom. And it's a beautiful day. And the song ramped up and it only meant I had to play one track. Yeah, that'll never happen, Mr. and Mrs. Howie.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Hey, Aunt May.
On YouTube, yeah.
Did you forget Laurie's in the room? Come on now. It may happen. All right.
I don't have a schedule or a piece of paper.
He didn't get the email.
We are, I guess, like what Brian has mentioned. We're just life partners, and nothing wrong with that. So who's up next?
Brian.
Don't forget the topic now. What are the activities, that you see kind of going away, or not?
I've made an observation. I'll bail you out. So I've made an observation.
There he is.
And I haven't done a lot of weddings, as you all know. This year, I have done a few recently, and I'm planning a few now. And something that has been pretty obvious is that it seems to me like most of my clients feel obligated to do the pageantry, but they don't really like it. When they want to do this formal this and this formal that, and they feel they need to do it, but when we're in that moment, they're not happy.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like they'd rather be doing something else. In fact, last night, or was it last night? My days are Saturday night, I guess. Recently, Saturday night.
One of those days.
The 2023.
Absolutely.
We had it on the list where we were going to do a we're going to do 2 separate father-daughter dances because she had 2 fathers essentially, and then there was going to be a mother-son dance. Right. And that was going to kind of open the evening because they did their first dance early before dinner, J style. So we got to this point where they just like, you know what? We don't even want to do it. I don't want to dance with those guys. And he doesn't really want to dance with his mom. So let's do it. But they just don't want to do it. And you know what? Cool. Let's get back to the party. You know, why are we here? We're here to have fun.
It's okay. Yes. You know, on that topic, the last wedding I did, they did not want to do the bouquet or the garter thing at all. And when
weddings don't anymore.
Right. Exactly. And this is our topic. And I went up and I said, okay, you know, I went up to the bride and groom and I said, okay. And the mother came in and started talking very loud. You have to throw the flower. You have to do it. And I just went over and whispered in her ear. I said, take the thing and then just turn around and walk up and give it to someone that means something to you. And you know what she did? She went over to her grandmother's table and gave it to her.
What I've been suggesting, and I just had a meeting. I just ended the meeting before I came on here. What I've been suggesting to anyone who has the throwaway bouquet, I talk about the anniversary dance. Some of you are doing it in reverse. Some of you are doing it forward.
You're right.
I've said, hey, how about you do this? Whoever wins the anniversary
dance,
a
gift.
Give it to her.
Yeah.
Done. Beautiful.
It's nice.
I started doing that literally like, and I don't know where I got it, but I started doing it like 15 years ago. Because out here, the garter bouquet started falling away.
Yeah.
But the anniversary started coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, instead, let's give the bouquet to whoever wins the anniversary dance. And that way, when the girls give you a hard time about the bouquet toss, you tell them, oh, no, I'm giving it to whoever's married the longest. They get off your back.
I think, Jay, I think I got it from a bride and I gave it to you. Like,
it could be. I've been doing it so long, I don't remember when
I'm not smart enough to come up with something as cool as that. I think actually a client came up with that idea, and I thought, that's class, and I shared it with Jay.
Yeah, and I'm not disputing that, but I know I've been doing it for a very long time.
That's
why I'm kind of like, I could have very well gotten it from you, but I started doing that literally like 15 or 16 years ago. Because I just remember there was a problem out here. Southern California is not like the Midwest, the Northeast, or the South. Brides out here get very, I'm too cool for line dances. I'm too cool for this. I'm too cool for that. I don't want to look goofy.
Nationwide.
Well, it seems like it started here a little earlier, and it would really ruin parties because it's like they didn't want to do any. And I'm like, that's cool. You don't have to. Like I said, my planning form started in probably 2005, and it's got introductions, yes or no. Wedding party, yes or no. So, I mean, I was doing that almost 20 years ago, but it was out of sheer necessity that couples were like, oh, we don't want to look goofy. There was this like, I don't want to be goofy. That was the line. I don't know
if that's what it is. I have a theory about that. I believe this to be true. When you have extensive don't playlists or don't do line dances or don't play, the big song like Happy by Pharrell or whatever, when I see that, what that tells me is not that they particularly hate those songs.
Oh, yeah.
It tells me that they've been to 17 weddings this season and they've all done that.
Exactly.
And they want something different. Yeah. So if you don't do those things, it has to be different.
Right. Sick of hearing the same stuff.
Or they've done the website thing. I did a wedding Saturday night. The groom is 55. The bride looked like she was probably late 40s, maybe early 50s. So they're very similar in age. And when I got the first phone call about 4 months ago, he was very keen to ask this question. So as a DJ, what would you describe your style as? And I was like, that's really an odd question.
Whoa.
Well, no, because I was like, so I could see where this is sort of going.
Style.
So it's like, oh, I'm really big on beat mixing. I'm really a big fan of not stopping tracks. I'll only slam tracks together when I need to, but I really like the flow, and I tend to climb the ladder of speed, meaning I start slower, I move up, I come back, I go up, I go, but it's all about continuity. I don't speak over tracks. I don't talk once dancing starts.
Right.
And he said something else about music selection. I said, I'm reading the crowd. I'm there to play for your guests, or why else are they there? Mm-hmm. And then he decides to disclose, oh, yeah, that's a great answer. I'm actually in college. I was a DJ in Chicago. Oh, really? It's like, yeah, I used to do house parties, did some weddings, did this and that. And, fast forward to this past Saturday, he was very specific about music. Nothing right wing, no Ted Nugent, no country, no this, no that. And when we met in person, I said something about the list. And he goes, yeah, my first wedding was a disaster.
Wow.
He goes, not for the wedding, but like at the actual wedding, I went up to the DJ and I gave him this long no list. And I realized like an hour into the wedding that like no one's dancing because they all want to hear everything on the list. I said, it's so funny you say that.
Yeah.
My wedding,
me.
I gave my DJ like 100 no songs, and they were all popular wedding songs. And I don't remember why I did it, but I think I did it so that I could be the cool wedding that didn't have those. Yeah. And he came up to me like half an hour into the night and said, hey, dude, here's your no list. And I put a check mark next to every song on it someone's requested. And it dawned on me right then and there. And this is 23 years ago. You know what? Do me a favor. I don't care if you play the Macarena 6 times in a row, if that's what they want. Don't listen to me again. Just play, do your job,
do your thing,
and play to the crowd. And then he got up there. I don't remember what he played. He played something, and the dance floor packed out for the rest of the night, and everybody had a great time. And it was the first time as a real DJ to open my eyes and realize if you make it all about you,
they don't know what they want.
Then no one is going to have a good time.
He must have played on the dark side.
About them.
I
need to say, here's the crowd, play to them. The only song I demanded was the very last song of the night had to be Aerosmith's Home Tonight. That was the very last song of the night.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Okay, Jay, you have used up your 15 minutes. We're going to move on.
Why?
Wow.
You're missing out on a wealth of knowledge.
I'll go.
That's okay.
I'll go.
Ask buddy about his life.
Kid.
Yeah, diamonds. No, what I've noticed, I mean, things are more streamlined. Like up here for the East Coast, like you probably get about 2.5 hours of dancing if you're lucky. The day starts at 3. You're probably getting out of dinner by 7:30, 8 o'clock, and you go until 10, maybe 10:30. What I've seen is the trend is there are less stops and starts than there used to be. Like once you get the people up and dancing, there was, I remember doing weddings in the 80s, 90s, and like we want to stop here because someone's going to come up and say something, and there's going to be, and you end up with all these weird little breaks that just screw with your timing. You got a flow going, the floor is packed. Like, can we do that now? Like, sure. Okay, what's going on out here, will you?
Well,
there's lots of that.
Less breaks this way because all the time.
We're more streamlined. It's more about the dance party. There's less hokey stuff going on. It's like, okay, we're going to do centerpieces. Everyone pass $1 around. All right, stop. We're not doing any of that BS anymore. That all just went away, and it just seems people want to party, and the less they have to do, they're going to put on the dog and pony show because they have to, because that's the day. But when it comes right down to it, they want the club experience. They want everyone included, and they leave it up to us to do what's right. Now, I'm thankful that we don't have those silly breaks for dumb reasons, and I'm glad that went away.
You know what? Always the image I get in my head. The image I get in my head with what you're talking about specifically, John, is pushing a stalled car. You really gotta put your back into it to get it rolling.
Again,
it's not so bad. But then if you have to stop again and start over again,
oh my God,
sucks.
Yeah.
Right. That's what those stop and go things are. Oh, let's have cake now. Wait a minute, we just had.
The pastor wants to make another announcement.
That's the reason I had a clutch in my very first vehicle, because I could push it, pop the clutch, and then keep going.
Howie, I know. I took
through dinner.
What say you?
Is good.
What say you, Matt? You haven't had a chance.
Yeah, so it's been. I've noticed that the garter toss has dropped off a lot. None of that one's been covered. Even if there's going to be a bouquet toss, I feel like the bouquet where you're just tossing a thing of flowers there into a crowd is a lot less awkward than sitting in a chair while your new husband is lifting your skirt up, going underneath or whatever, and taking a garter off of you. So that's faded out a lot. I did one yesterday though, where there wasn't even a wedding cake. There was a dessert table, but it was time for speeches and everything. So I had asked, okay, so are we doing them near the cake or what? And they said, oh, there is no cake. What? Okay, well, so no cake cutting, no cake. And I mean, they didn't pick out a song for the cake cutting. So I just figured they didn't want music for it, but I didn't realize that we weren't having one at all. And so just more formalities that are kind of just optional these days.
Yeah.
How about you, buddy? Do you think that people want to party more, or do they want all those formalities like Brian had mentioned?
Hold on. I need a drink before he answers. Hold on. No, I'm kidding.
Well, as someone who does only weddings, and I see it week after week after week after week. There are no two weddings the same, and we've said that hundreds of times in the show, and we've said it tons of times. This is why this Jackie News and this show is very important, because this gives a lot of information out. There's tons of knowledge here from people giving you all different takes in different parts of the country, and those takes help everyone out. And I could tell you, I've used a lot of tricks and gimmicks and everything like that from here. And one of the things I've noticed a lot of going on, what people's falling on the wayside, is a lot of the, again, formalities, what Matt was saying, that they don't want that standard wedding stuff. They want to kind of make it their own thing. I've done a bouquet toss, a garter toss. We've had the bride and groom both had little flasks, and they go and put there's a blueberry, there's a commercial blueberry moonshine. They fill both of them, wrap the flask with a little black or a little white fabric, toss over the shoulder at the same time. One group of guys, one group of girls, got to be over 21.
Where's this happening?
Already happened.
Is this a public event?
It was a public event. Yes.
What's the cover check?
Practice for the next one will be at Dave's house.
I've had people do a whiskey shot at the altar instead of doing like a candle or something like that. They actually have little glasses of whiskey and do a shot of whiskey on a barrel head at the altar, as they're instead of giving each other rings. Stuff like that. It's all these different things. So
you can always tell how long a marriage will last by the alcohol that they're getting.
Alcohol. A lot
there
of people
it
here,
is.
not myself.
Howie just said it. Yep.
not myself, but a lot of people here do enjoy the adult beverages. I know a few of my friends here do. Yeah, but the thing is, that's the thing is that
I'm 21.
I really feel that the wedding has changed from the time that we started the business to now, that it's much, much different. And honestly, those things on the way,
I've never heard of that, where you would throw the flask over your shoulder and they each take a shot. I've never here we go, folks. It's the first
time. Breaking a new tradition here live.
An exclusive live here on Hanging Out with Howie.
I've actually got one that I've forgotten all about, and it snuck up on us. It was slow, but it happened over the last 10 years, and no one's mentioned it.
What's that?
No one gets married in a church anymore.
Oh,
yes.
Well, we don't do church weddings. Like out here, churches won't let DJs in. So even if they do,
but that was the point. We didn't have to mess with that part.
No, we never did. Yeah, Catholic churches.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolute
ceremony is relatively new.
Right.
There was an organist and a church and a clergy, and there were rules you had to follow, and you had to do what they said. And you went to that building. You did that thing, and then you went to the reception hall and met me, and it was fun time.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's how it used to be.
100%.
And
you weren't around to hear the prayer and the blessing. And
I still get some where they get married off site, and then you're the reception. They show up for cocktail.
That's my favorite kind.
Yeah, me too.
That's my favorite kind because the last wedding I did, they were at the church. I was already in the reception hall.
Yeah,
done.
I can remember.
They went to the bar for happy hour, and then it was on from there.
I mean, 30 plus years ago, it was like, oh, we're DJing the ceremony. What kind of heathens are these people?
Yeah,
now it's like the normal thing. Everybody.
COVID made it all outside for me.
I think
so. They have to do everything together out here. It's just a done.
I think the other thing is that a lot of I've seen a lot of being Catholic. I've seen a lot of Catholic priests come to the venue and they don't do a full mass. They don't do the full, it's usually a decent ceremony, usually 40 minutes long. But I've also seen the, brother or best friend of the bride or groom go ordain and do a ceremony too.
A lot of that.
Again, I think that is more of a newer phenomena than was before. And that's one of the things that fall into the wayside is having that heavy, burden upon anything and try and make it quick. And a lot of people want that quick 20, 30-minute ceremony and being done with it.
It's done in 15 minutes.
Ceremony is an hour and a half.
15 minutes.
20
no
minutes
30.
Long for me these days.
15 minutes.
They can marry you in 15.
By the way, Saturday's wedding, the officiant called the coordinator, and the coordinator said, "Could you please call the officiant?" I'm like, "You're kidding." She's like, "No." I'm like, "I've been doing this since the mid 90s. I've never had to call an officiant before a wedding." I call her. She's stuck in traffic. She didn't know there was an air show and a fire and all this stuff. And she's like, "I'm supposed to be there by 4:45 when the wedding starts, but I'll be honest, I'm running low on gas. There's a chance I may not make it. What are we going to do?" I said, "I'll
give her the good news."
She goes, "Oh, you can't." I go, "Oh no, I'm ordained. I can do the wedding." So I had to go to the bride and groom and say, "I'll wait." Before I tell them. And literally she showed up 1 minute before 5, ran in, and then proceeded to screw up not only part of it, but because I have a Gator trigger mic that you can lift with a trigger really easily. She's 5'1", the groom is 6'3", the bride's 5'10". She pulls the mic to her, and then the groom and bride are bending over, and I'm like, and the coordinator.
I thought you were going to say the groom farted.
I thought the mic went up and down fast. And I go, "It does." But the problem is she was late, so I couldn't show her. Oh, it was an absolute S show on it.
So the quickest wedding, the quickest ceremony.
Before you go, buddy, we have not gotten to Matt yet. And
we
then,
did.
We did.
Yeah, we got Matt.
As long as we're going in bonus round, as long as we're going to bonus Matt round here, I did forget to add in though.
We're in the bonus round here. I wanted you to feel included.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Howie. Well,
keep it up, Howie. He's going to go to the phone.
There's less games at weddings these days too. I know there's DJs that have their specific props for a shoe game or this game or that game. Like I've never had to, I've been doing weddings now for 15 years and I've never had to concern myself with that because it's just so rare. And I've probably had a handful of them in that time.
It really is.
By the way, I've done 5 shoe games in the last 6 months, which is more shoe games than I've done in the last 20 years. So I don't know where it's coming back.
I thought that was coming 20 years ago.
I did too. Yeah. No, I haven't done it in forever. And all of a sudden this year, I've got 5 different couples that are like, "Hey, we want to do the shoe game." And the best part is they just say that. And I go, "Oh, okay, well, we'll schedule it before dancing after dinner and blah, blah, blah." Okay, great. I'm like, "So I assume you want me to bring all the questions?" Yeah, that's cool. You don't want to make up any questions? No, we're good. I said, "I'm just letting you know. I'm not going to ask anything about who snores or anything that might upset a relative." So my questions are who takes more time to get ready? Who's messier? Who plans better date nights? I ask the most inane questions because I don't want it to be like, who swallows? Like, I don't want to get down the road of like,
first.
who watches the BSR videos on YouTube?
Who's going to get caught cheating first?
No shoes. What? Oh yeah, that'd be a good game at a wedding. Everybody puts their guess in and how long it's going to last. Into
I've seen that.
And if they ever do get divorced, you pick a winner.
We've done that.
That's a real game.
You do that. You have a huge jar, and people have to put in money with the tickets, and it's like a running joke. And then they pick a ticket, and they give part of the money away. Oh no, I've seen some crazy ass.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Will they stay married or not? And the answer is yes or no. And it's like couples that just have a weird sense of humor.
Yeah.
And
Hey Howie, did Jay get a turn?
I don't think
I'm leaving. Hey guys, I'm being blunt.
I don't
read
think
the rest of this in my book. I'm leaving good stuff on the table.
I don't think Jay got his
right here
25 minutes in yet. But speaking of humor, what has been the humorous thing that you've observed as an activity during any event, whether it's wedding or whatever?
Can I go? Can I go? Can I go?
Funny or funny because
you got your 25 minutes.
No, this is it. I'll make it really short and sweet, Howie. I promise. It'll be 2 seconds. I'll tell you what's humorous and disgusting, and I bet everyone in this room does it or did it, is when you have the garter and bouquet toss, and you take the girl that caught the bouquet and the guy that caught the garter, and you make the guy put the garter on her leg. Because I've done weddings where the girl that caught the bouquet is 12 and the guy is 30.
You've got to use an discretion on this stuff. I mean, you don't just do it.
No, they go into it with like, yeah, we're going to do this. And I'm like, that's really raunchy. And no, we shouldn't do that. And they're like, no, it'll be funny. I'm like, that guy's 30. She's 12. This is like not funny.
That's not going to age well. No.
And I've had to be on the mic saying, hey, folks, this looks completely wrong, but it's a tradition. For every inch above the knee, they get an extra 10 years of good luck. And I'm just sweating and looking like,
10 years in prison.
What I had done when that particular
I knew people did it. Yeah.
I went up and I whispered in the guy that caught the bouquet. I whispered in his ear. I said, be a gentleman, because she's terrified. Walk up and just hand it to her in her hand. And it works every time.
I don't know if this is funny or not. This happened this weekend. I don't know if it's funny. But the groom hated Journey. Like a lot.
Really?
Yeah. So, okay, my wedding on Saturday was really weird because it was mostly EDM. I know. But the groom liked hair bands. She liked EDM, like festival EDM music. But he hated Journey. And on the Do Not playlist was specifically no Journey. And I'm having a meeting with them.
Don't stop believing.
And I mention it. And she laughs and says, yeah, he hates Journey. He says, so by no circumstances at all, play Journey. He says, actually, I'll tell you what, there's going to be people there who want to hear Don't Stop Believing.
Yes.
He said, so I'll make a deal with you, Brian. I'm like, what's that? He said, hustle them for dough. And whatever you get for them for playing Don't Stop Believing, you got to split it with me. We got to split this money. But don't settle for any less than $200 a piece.
Yeah.
He said, and they'll pay it. And I'm like, oh, dude. I'm like,
I like that.
He said, just don't take it from him. I'm like, okay. So of course, even the song Journey Don't Stop Believing gets mentioned in one of the speeches, And then sure enough, somebody comes up and says, hey, play Journey. I'm like, I can't play Journey, dude. He's like, come on. I'm like, look, deal I got with groom is I got to split whatever you give me to play, and he's not accepting any less than 200, so it's got to be at least $400. He's like, I'll pay it. I'll be back. And he goes away, and of course he doesn't come back. Then he comes back later, and he says, all right, 200. I'll Venmo it to you right now. I'm like, I can't do 200. It's got to be 4. It's like, oh, come on, man. 200. I'm like, I'm sorry. It's not me. It's him.
Go back to the bar and think about it.
He won't let me do it for any less. He's like, oh, dude. So then towards the end of the night, the groom comes up and says, that guy has been my Huckleberry all day. He's been my wingman. He's awesome.
All right.
Play it for him. Just play it for him. So I got on the mic and I said, here's a gift from the bride and groom, and played it, and the place erupted. So, but it was kind of a running joke all night, where the song was going to cost several $100s and whatever. I don't know if it's funny or not, but it happened, and I thought I'd share it.
Oh, it is funny. It is funny.
I got a funny one. I got a funny one. And I'm in New Hampshire, close to Boston, like John and where Jay was. So maybe it's not that funny. Maybe it's normal. But this was a year and a half ago. I did a wedding. And a hot bride, really hot bride.
Oh, my God. Here we go.
No,
in her 60s.
No, hey, come on now. I didn't plan this. I had no idea. Okay. But halfway through their first dance, and my cue was when the best man throws a chair out to the floor, the center of the floor, I was supposed to change the song to Pony by Genuine.
Right. I know that.
I'm a DJ.
Oh,
I followed orders. Okay. I'm not saying I didn't like the show, but I did what they paid me for.
And then the guy did the strip thing.
No, she did.
Oh,
No, it was like all the way up to her belly button with a thong. And the crowd was just, I thought for sure I was at a
Chelsea wedding?
No, I thought I was at a trailer park. Okay.
Lynn.
I really did. And the crowd just went erupt because it's all their friends. I was not I didn't even know what was going to go on. They said, do this. I did it. And I needed a bathroom break after that real quick. But it was great. I thought that was funny. But you know what? It was their guest that they invited. They knew them. They all just went along with it. There was nothing, she wasn't naked, but there was plenty to see. Let's just say that,
Well, you pedaled back on the thong real fast, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh,
well, a second ago it was a thong to her belly button, and all of a sudden you feel the need to go like, it's not like she was naked.
Come on, I'm a man. What would you do? What would you do? All right.
When I use Pony is when the guy doesn't want to do the garter and he gets talked into it by the wife, and I look at him and I go, I'll play like, Mission Impossible, that theme. He goes, cool. And I look at the bride and groom in the meeting and I go, you want to have fun though? He's like, yeah, I'll have fun. I go, great. Once you get it, I'll start playing Pony by Genuine and you can just go nuts. And they're like, oh my God, that'll be awesome. And it never fails. Because if you got to do it, just do it right. Or don't do it.
Never get a request for Pony.
So I get out here, they request it.
Yeah, I get it.
It's a waste of time song. It's a waste of time song.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't forget, there's also Toxic Pony.
Right. Yeah. Does anybody else, except for Jay, have anything else to say before we work on it?
You can read my book when I publish it because I got a lot.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we will be back here next week. And as always, if you have a question, put it in the comments when it gets published. And